Hi guys, welcome to the Allotment Family Diary. We've come to Exmouth Beach today. We're giving Alfie and Tor a little run. Alfie's not been too well lately, so we sort of thought it'd be quite nice for him to stretch his legs today.
Yeah, it's sort of a test to see where he is really, and I must say it seems to be a bit of a big improvement in him. He's got issues with his back legs. It's not arthritis, it's a form of nerve issue in his back legs.
Yeah, well the vet said it was similar to like a dog MS that he's got. His back legs keep giving way. He's not good at controlling his bowel movements.
And he's just dropped his ball, so I've got to go back and get it.
So it's been a bit of touch and go with him. He's due to go to the vet for another painkilling injection on Thursday and an update on how he is basically. Because Alfie will be 15 this year, so he's, you know, he's quite old.
Yeah, he seems okay. He doesn't seem to be in any pain, but I must say at the start of the week, it was start of last week, it was touch and go whether we might have to make a decision on him, but we'll be guided by the vet. But we don't think he's in any pain, and he seems to be enjoying life.
So yeah, there is the quick doggy update as promised. Alf is still going strong, but yeah, we'll see how things go with him. Obviously Tor's here as well. Tor isn't too keen on the beach, but you know, any excuse for a walk with Tor, isn't it? The weather's pretty nice today actually. One might say it's even hot. Perhaps even, well, not quite scorching, but getting there. But I tell you what, talking about scorching stuff, let's roll you back to last week and have a look how our chilies and peppers have been getting on. It's cold, it's wet. Go, it's cold, it's wet. Oh, is this rain ever going to stop? And it's freezing. Oh, it is incredibly wet out there. I've just legged it into the Allotment Family Garage because I wanted to have a chat with you guys about our chilies and peppers. So apologies in advance if the light looks a bit weird. I've had to turn off the strip light because it's buzzing like crazy. I've just got the filming lights going. And also there's a fly in here, so you might see a fly going around at some point. It's the 28th of January today, 2025. And exactly 1 month ago today, to the day, on the 28th of December, we sowed the first seeds for this year. So they were our chilies and peppers. That was the peppers being Fiesta and Delirio, and the chilies being Bishop's Crown and also Machu Picchu. In the first episode of season 3, I gave you a look at how those seedlings were coming along, and they were coming along nicely. So I will say this is the first time that we have grown anything indoors with grow lights. So we've used heat mats previously to germinate seeds, but this is the first time with grow lights. And last year we had an incredibly successful chili and pepper growing season. So it's going to be interesting to see how it's going to pan out this year, starting off things indoors. I constructed a very makeshift grow house for the seedlings here. So that comprised of polystyrene panels wrapped with a silver insulation foil, which is apparently good for retaining heat and keeping the cold out. Now the garage area, so where the seedlings are currently growing, backs onto a window, and if I keep looking over there, it's because I'm looking at the area. And we covered this window with fleece just to keep the cold out, because it's still very cold here at the moment. And also this is going to allow natural light into the growing space. Heat mats were placed on the bottom to germinate the seeds, and we've also been using the heat mats. They're still on, but without anything underneath them unless something is in the process of germinating. So this is just to create a lovely warm environment for the plants to flourish in. So the LED lights we're using are just basic ones, cheap ones that we bought, and you can control how long they're on for and also the light intensity. Three days ago, I decided that those seedlings were ready to be potted on. I did my research online, and apparently John Innes number 2 is recommended for potting on chilies and peppers and all sorts of other plants. So we've gone with John Innes number 2 compost. I began by breaking down the compost with my hands because I don't have a sieve, and you know what, it's just as easy doing it with your hands, just removing all of the lumps. And then I also acquired some 10cm pots from our local garden centre to pop the seedlings into. After compacting down all the compost, I then dug down about 2 inches and created a well where I could transplant the seedlings to. I also watered this with room temperature water, not cold water straight from the tap, to ensure that the seedlings didn't suffer any shock when they were put into their new houses. As I've mentioned in previous vlogs, I was not so hot on labelling plants last year, so I'm going to be on top of that this year, and I'm making sure to label each pot that these new chilies and peppers are going into. I also gave them a light watering from the top, but this will probably be the only time I'm going to do that, because I'm just going to be using the bottom watering method to make sure that we don't get any fungus growth on the surface of the pots. I've also decided to do a cheeky little experiment just to test the effectiveness of the grow house that I built. So what I've done, I've got one of the Delirio peppers and I potted that up as normal, but I'm not putting it in the grow house. I'm just going to leave it outside with the natural light. It will be a lot colder, but we'll see how that one gets on and I'll give you updates. So I belong to various allotment Facebook groups, and I've noticed like a lot of people have started off their tomatoes, so I thought, why not? I mean, we'll use some of the seeds. We won't use all of them just in case it doesn't work. But I think, yeah, let's give this a go. So a couple of days ago, I thought, well, we're gonna have to expand the growing area if we want to do this. So I have made it a bit bigger, so it's the entire length of the window. I've had to get more insulation foil, but it's looking good. As you've probably seen in our planning video, this year we are growing honeycomb, Akoya, and also Brandywine tomatoes, which are sort of like a beefsteak variety. And this was a viewer suggestion, but apparently they're quite temperamental and they do need a longer growing season. So yeah, I think it's probably best to get these in the ground. I've used John Inn's seed sowing compost in seed trays to start the tomatoes off. It's a very fine compost, but one thing I noticed, I mean, let me know in the comments if you guys have noticed this, if you've used this particular type of compost. There were lots of tiny like gold flakes in it, almost like foil or metallic substance. I don't think it should be there, if I'm quite honest, so let me know if you've seen that. I don't normally wear gloves when I'm gardening, although I probably should, and I think I'm paying the price now. But I am, I'm using gloves a lot more because I have some real nasty dry hands at the moment. Again, if you can recommend like any decent hand cream or something, that would be fantastic because, ow. I've decided to sow 12 Brandywine just to be safe, 6 Akoya and 6 honeycomb. We'll see how those get on, and I've sown them individually. I've not plonked a load of them into a single seed tray. I just want to see what the germination rate is with them. Before placing the seeds onto the compost in the seed trays, I've given it a water, then I've popped the seeds on top, applied a light layer of compost, and then using a spray bottle, I have given the top layer of compost a bit of moisture just to make sure we get that germination into progress. So after popping the lid onto the seed tray, this whole tray can then go and sit on the heat mat, and the heat mat is set to roughly around 18 to 20 degrees Celsius. And yeah, we'll see what happens with these tomatoes. Fingers crossed they'll start popping up within the next week or so. As I have mentioned, today is the 28th of January. So a couple of days after the chilies and peppers have been potted on, I came out to look at them this morning and I noticed something a little bit strange. So there was some yellowing occurring on the leaves, and also the Machu Picchu in particular had all sort of curled, the leaves were curling upwards. So I did a bit of research because I was quite concerned. A lot of people online were saying it could be nutrient burn, but that's pretty much impossible because I've only been giving them water. I've not been feeding them anything. The only nutrients they're getting are from the compost that they're sitting in. So I looked online again, and yeah, I found something which I stupidly haven't considered. And okay, in our defense, I'm going to say this now, you know, we are sort of beginner gardeners, you know, we're still learning things, but perhaps, you know, this is something you guys didn't know, and maybe you'll learn from this. LED light burn. Yeah. So I have been having the LED lights very close to the seedlings. So you've got like your leaves there for the seedlings, and I've been having the lights a couple of inches above them. So that stopped today because I am 99% sure that that's the cause of it. So what I've done now is I have raised the lights to 12 inches above the chili and pepper seedlings, and I've also dimmed the light. I'm really hoping that, you know, that's gonna resolve the issue. Yeah, it's these little things, isn't it, that, you know, when you're starting out that you don't think about. But yeah, doing your research, you get to discover the best way of doing things. So I think what we'll do, we'll just check on these guys every day. I do check on them every day, as I'm sure a lot of you guys do. I expect some of you guys do it every hour. Why not, seed babies? But we'll keep you guys updated as to their progress. Anyway, so I want to ask you guys something. So have you started any seeds in January? I mean, did you start anything at the end of December? Are you growing anything indoors? If so, what are you growing and how are you growing it? Let us know in the comments, because I'd love to hear. Hey guys, it is Saturday, the 1st of February. February already. Where has time gone? Spring's going to be here soon though, so that's a good thing. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon, and it's strange talking to you guys at this time of day and not early in the morning when I usually start filming for the vlogs, but that's because I've been quite busy today working on a lovely project with our community up here. So this explains the shed, the unfamiliar shed. Obviously it's not mine or Tilly's, but this shed belongs to our community plot up here. Today, some of our lovely volunteers organised a community event where we all mucked in and helped to clean up our community garden. Some of the jobs that we completed today were tidying up the wildflower garden and building a little swamp garden and a pond. Some of our volunteers also tidied up the flower and herb bed as well. Myself and another volunteer worked on clearing brambles from behind the shed and around the side, and we also reinforced the fence as well because it was getting quite dangerous for cars and things coming up the driveway. So yes, all in all, I think it was a fantastic day, and you know what, it felt so good to actually give something back to the community of allotmenteers up here as well. Let me know in the comments if you guys have a community garden or community allotment space at your allotment site. Do you ever muck in with help at a community garden? It's just so nice, isn't it, to have a lovely community of growers who work together and achieve a common goal. So in other news, our trading shed reopened today, and finally I've got the onion sets and the shallot sets in, but because it's getting a little bit chilly, I'm going to head home and I'll show you those when we get back to the house. Well, here we are back at the house, and we've got the onion and shallot sets to show you guys, and a puppy.
Oh, he's so cute.
Yeah, dogs don't like onions. They're not good for you.
No.
You can't have them.
No.
But you can look at them. Yeah. Yeah, right. So what have we got? Right, yeah, he's curled up there. So yeah, they just came into the trading shed. We've got the red onions, which are called Red Carmen, and in here we have 500 grams. So that's roughly about 110 sets, so 110 of these. And we have 500 grams in here. Again, it's about 110 of rumba and stir-on. So apparently they were telling me that these grow quite well in our ground.
Oh right, mixed up together.
Yeah, so I made a mistake. So they were in 2 separate bags, and I'm rushing around, as you do, and I put them all into one bowl.
Easy mistake.
So now we won't know which is which, but oh well.
Oh dear.
They all taste the same, really, don't they?
Yeah, of course they do, yeah.
Someone will go, no they don't, how dare you?
Well, actually it would be funny, wouldn't it, if you had some that were like really straight and big,
yeah,
and others that were sort of all bent over and
yeah, we'll see. I think they do look slightly different when they're fully grown. so I'm sure we'll find out in the end. But it'll be a lucky dip, won't it?
These last year I had banana shallots, but this year they're yellow moon.
Yellow moon, yeah.
What I'm going to do with these actually, and I did it last year with quite a bit of success, although I did start them a bit earlier, I think. I pop them into individual pots and keep them in the polytunnel for, well, last year it was a couple of months before I actually planted them, and they had a really lovely root system. Well, because they're planted mid-March, they might not have such a good root system, but I'm going to try and do the same, really.
Yeah, give it a go. So these are being grown on Tilly's allotment, and the onions are being grown on mine and Hans. Again, these are going, and you reckon mid-March, don't you?
Yes, yeah.
You always have really good onions.
Well, yes, I mean, I did start them off in the autumn at one time for a few years, but I had such bad results because it seemed to be as soon as I put them in, all this cold, horrible weather and rain and wind. So now that we put them in the spring instead of the autumn.
So that's it, yeah. I mean, obviously you won't see us plant these until mid-March, but we thought we'd show you guys. Oh yeah, that's 1 kilogram of shallots.
Yeah, that's probably, we worked it out, didn't we? You actually did the calculation of how many we'd need for one bed.
Yeah, I believe you can fit about 28 bulbs into one raised bed.
And Tom found out that a good companion plant is golden beets. So we're going to have a row of golden beets in the middle of the raised bed.
Yeah, so 2 rows of shallots and then golden beets in the middle. See how that goes. Well, that's just about it for the video this week. Thanks ever so much for watching. Please drop it a like if you liked it, and do consider subscribing as well
and sharing.
Yeah,
don't forget to share.
and please leave a comment as well, because obviously we love reading your comments. Tilly replies to most of them now.
I do actually, yes. And they're so lovely, and I try to sort of do a little bit more than just the one-liner if I can. So yeah,
but at least you reply to them.
Yeah,
and also commenting really does help us with the YouTube algorithm. It helps push the videos as well. So even if you just leave like a smiley face emoji, whatever, you know, we appreciate it.
I don't understand the algorithms.
Neither do I. Who does?
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so well, next week's video we've got some, well, not great news for you guys. Yeah, not brilliant, is it at all?
No, not really, no.
But I think what we'll do is we'll leave it there on that cliffhanger and stay tuned for next week's episode to find out what's going on.
Yes. Yep.
Anyway, bye guys, we'll see you soon.
Bye, see you soon.